Welcome back, gang. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of You Know What? Marketing for the Rest of Us. This show is dedicated to those of us who are people-oriented people that want to make real connections through our marketing and not just pitch all the time. It is also dedicated to those of us who don't want to chase algorithms and have no patience for all the tech of it all. We just want to make an impact with humans. So let's start off today with the land of either or. So I did a post about it this morning, and today we're actually going to unpack some of the nuance of it here. Now, in the space of marketing, here's how this sort of plays out. We read books, we go to courses, we hear people talk about like, oh, you have to do SEO. Oh, you're supposed to do blog posts. Oh, you're supposed to do 5 to 7 posts on Facebook. And we get stuck in this land of like, oh, I'm supposed to do this or I'm supposed to do that, right? It's either or. And what happens with either or is that we start to, the more information we collect, the harder it is to make a decision about what it is we're supposed to do, right? It's either this or it's that. Now, here's the problem with it, right? When you see things in black and white, it sends you on an emotional roller coaster. When things are black and white for you, you go on an emotional roller coaster because you don't know what to pick, all right? Especially, by the way, when things don't go as planned. So you're heading down the road in your marketing, you're doing what people said to do. Well, this is what they said to do. And then things don't go as planned. And then you're like, what? This isn't supposed to happen. This is supposed to produce a result. And then you get frustrated, right? And then you go search some other answer, right? Because this wasn't it, so it must be that, right? Because it's either this or it's that. So then you go down that path and you seek out those answers and you try those solutions. And then those solutions don't work. And you're like, what? How is this possible? Well, this one didn't work, so it must be that or another thing over there. So now it's not this, it's that over there. This black and white thinking is causing you to go insane. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? If you could just shift your perspective to both and, right? When you move to the land of both and, not either or, all of a sudden you get flexibility, you get margin, you get room to move. So let's put it back in the same example. You might be trying some type of a Facebook strategy. You might be trying some type of blog strategy, and it's not working the way you want. And rather than being like, oh, it's not this, which is either or thinking, you can be like, oh, okay, well, you have to get to a place of why did you pick that? There was some truth in that for you, I'm guessing. Otherwise, why would you have picked it? So it's not the whole thing is bad. It's like, well, this isn't working. What else am I missing? This way you prevent yourself. See, it's both this and there might be something else I'm missing, right? It's both posting a blog and what else am I missing? Not either or. Here's another problem. When you get on that emotional roller coaster, what happens is you end up switching strategies often, and you can feel like you're lost half the time. Like half the time you're like, am I going the right way? Is this working? I don't really know. But that doesn't have to be this way. When you move to both and, you actually can stay the course, right? You can stay the course that you know is true for you. Like ultimately this is going to come down to you finding your truth. If you don't know who you are and you don't know what's true for you, then you have no rudder, you have no compass. There's no true north for you, and so things will sway you back and forth and you won't know what to pick. Here's the third problem. When you switch back and forth like this, what happens is you erode your confidence. And now you're timid to take a risk, and you're paralyzed by right versus wrong. You're like, I don't know, maybe this is right, maybe this isn't the right thing for me, maybe this is the right thing for me, I don't really know. And now you're paralyzed, and you can't make a decision one way or the other, okay? And that's a hard place to operate from in business. The possibility is that you're soundly confident in who you are. Again, this is the foundation, this is the North Star of it all, right? When you're grounded in who you are, okay? And what you're here to do, then you can take bold steps towards what it is you want from a place of both and. But if you don't know who you are, then it's very hard to stay in a place of both and because you question everything. Okay, here's the last problem that I noticed. You try to fix it, right? You try to, when you are timid and you've eroded your confidence, you try to fix it with more information. You're like, I don't know, maybe if this book sounded good, maybe this book will give me the confidence I need. And then you go try to grab more information and pull that in. But if you're living in the land of either or, then all the information you bring in is going to get filtered through either or. It's not information, it's the way in which you read that information. You could read that same information from the land of both and it would occur completely differently. You'd be like, oh, I can see how I can take a little piece of this and put it into what I'm doing based on who I am and where I'm going and what I'm here to do. But if you don't think in both and, then what happens is you're either like, I totally want this, or I don't trust it at all, right? So yeah, so the alternative to that is that information is only one data point, right? Information is only one data point. And you don't judge your results or path as right or wrong, but you just see and embrace all of it as what? Your journey. When you can move from a place of right or wrong, this is the right path, this is the wrong path, maybe that's the right path, you know, if you can get past all that, you just go, this is all just a journey. And when you're anchored in your sense of self and your truth and your life's work and what you're here to do, then it doesn't matter how many detours you take from here to there or how lost you feel on the path to your life's work. In fact, I would suggest that when you find your life's work, it stops occurring as feeling lost. Don't feel lost anymore inside your life's work because you know your North Star. I'm going here. This is what I'm here to do. And you may invest in some programs or read some books that don't quite align, and that's fine, but you don't feel lost because of it. Why? Because you have a sense of self and you know what you're here to do. So if you can see underneath the surface of all of this, there is this sense of truth. So how do we get to both and? How do we get to the land of both and? Well, I think a lot of it requires that you anchor yourself in your truth, your life's work, and what you're here to do. Thanks for hanging out with me today for this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. I'll join you guys tomorrow for another episode, and I'm going to paste in the comments in a second the 4 mindsets or principles it takes to move from either or to both and. See you tomorrow.